I eased my SUV to a near stop as I pulled into my parents' driveway in Buckhead, Atlanta, my knuckles white on the wheel. 6 months. That's how long it had been since I'd last put myself through this ritual of quiet humiliation. The grand brick house loomed just as it always had, perfectly manicured lawns, spotless white shutters, and that invisible cloud of disapproval seeping from every pane of glass. I took a deep breath, parked behind Dad's gleaming Lexus, and glanced in the rearview mirror. Makeup flawless. Hair pinned just right. My shield was up. Stepping inside, the foyer hit me with that familiar mix of lemon polish and Mom's overpriced floral scent. I followed the clatter to the dining room, where Margaret Hayes was tweaking the antique silver forks like they held the secrets to world peace. "Emily, you're here," she said, barely looking up. No embrace. No warmth, just a flat statement. Like checking off a box. "Help set the wine glasses? Your father's finishing the roast." I nodded, heading to the cabinet, scanning the room as I went. The mahogany buffet was lined with photos, mostly of Brandon in his moments of glory. Brandon at Yale commencement. Brandon accepting that Wall Street award. Brandon hobnobbing with the governor. One lone picture of me, shoved in the back, high school graduation. Nothing more. Dad emerged from the kitchen, knife in hand, face red with self-satisfaction. "Sunday roast's about ready," he boomed. Not really to me. He had on his world's best dad apron. A gift from Brandon ages ago. "Smells great," I lied through my teeth. Richard Hayes's roast was famously overcooked. A family legend nobody dared question. Mom circled the table again, folding napkins with surgical precision. "Brandon should be here soon." He messaged about a delay, something with London investors. Of course, Brandon could be late. The golden child's time was gold. As if on cue, the front door burst open, and Brandon's voice echoed through the halls. "Hey, folks." He sauntered in, decked out in a custom gray suit that screamed power lunch, even on a weekend. Mom's eyes lit up like Christmas. "There's my boy." She hugged him tight while Dad slapped his back. "Sorry for the holdup," Brandon said, yanking at his collar. "Had to seal that Whitaker merger." Dad grinned wide. "That's my son, always wheeling and dealing." We took our seats, Dad at the head, Mom on his right, Brandon on his left, and me staring at a blank wall. Dad carved the roast with gusto. Mom passed sides like a pro hostess. "So, Brandon," Dad said, giving him the juiciest slice. "How's Atlanta's finance king holding up?" Brandon chuckled, digging in. "Not bad. Just locked in 9-figure funding." "Oh, and I'm eyeing some property, Buckhead Heights. A sleek modern build just listed. 5.5 million. Glass walls. Infinity pool. The whole 9 yards." He waved his knife for emphasis. "Ultimate bachelor setup." Dad whistled. "Prime real estate. Got a showing lined up Tuesday," Brandon replied, chewing. "Offer by week's end." Mom and Dad swapped proud looks. I poked at my dry roast, the meat catching in my throat like unspoken words. "And you, Emily?" Mom asked, like an afterthought. "How's that little Etsy side gig going?" I swallowed water. "Actually, I've been house hunting too." The laughter hit like a slap, 2 seconds flat. All three erupting. "Nice one, sis," Brandon snorted, dabbing his lips. Dad's amusement faded to pity. "Your craft thing's sweet, but it's a pastime. Time for a real career." Mom murmured agreement. No fight in her. Brandon leaned back, smirking that same smug grin I'd hated since childhood. "Stick to your knickknacks. Leave the heavy lifting to the grown-ups." I kept my face neutral. saying nothing. Then he added, wine in hand. Speaking of, I'm pumping cash into this hot e-commerce startup, Cozy Haven. They're gonna wipe out all those mom-and-pop shops. The memory slammed into me at 22. Clutching a dog-eared business plan I'd slaved over. Standing in Dad's den. What do you think? I'd asked. Heart pounding. He glanced for maybe 20 seconds. Adorable. Kiddo. While Brandon had just snagged a spot at Morgan Stanley. That night, I'd sworn off sharing my dreams with them. What came next? Sleepless nights in a freezing storage unit. Packing orders solo. Losing my $60,000 nest egg to a shady vendor who vanished. Juggling 2 waitressing gigs and a freelance job to rebuild. All while pretending my venture was just fun. Back at the table. Mom slid store-bought apple pie my way. Dessert. Dear? You look peaked. I forced a smile, the one that never reached my eyes. The one they never noticed. If they knew Evergreen Designs had pulled in $40 million last year. That my knickknacks graced celeb homes and glossy mags. That my pastime employed 52 people who actually valued me. Gotta head out, I said. Rising. Work early. Brandon chuckled. Playing shop. Mom trailed me to the door. Shoving Tupperware at me. Leftovers, you probably don't eat right. I took it with a rote grin. Mumbled goodbyes. And fled to my car. My hands shook on the wheel as I drove off. For the first time. A spark ignited inside, clarity cutting through the fog. Enough, I whispered to the empty dashboard. I grabbed my phone and called Alex. How'd dinner go? His voice came. No need for hellos. Brandon's after a house in Buckhead Heights. 5.5 mil. Silence. Then, I wanted the house. And to stop hiding. I could hear his grin. About damn time. It's time they saw what knickknacks can build. I thought. As the highway stretched ahead like possibility. Evergreen Designs headquarters screamed success. Not side hustle. Monday morning. Alex Thornton stood by the panoramic windows of my downtown Atlanta office, overlooking the empire we'd forged. Crisp white desks dotted with vibrant decor samples, candles, textiles, wall art, each a slap to anyone who'd called them junk. He turned to his workstation, where spreadsheets painted the truth, steady climbs, envy-worthy margins, forecasts shooting up. 9 figures strong, not a hobby. A powerhouse. The wall behind his desk flaunted what I'd kept from my family, framed Vogue covers spotlighting our lines. Biz awards. Headlines like Entrepreneur of the Year, Under 30 Powerhouse, Home Decor Revolution. The elevator dinged. And I strode in. Still in yesterday's clothes. My face had shifted from dinner's mask to steel-edged resolve. That bad? Alex asked. Reading me like a book. Brandon's gunning for that Buckhead Heights place. 5.5 mil. They laughed at me for house hunting. Figures, Alex muttered. He'd never met the Hayes. But years of my stories had him loathing them. A team member approached with color palettes. Pausing at my vibe. Then pressing on. Sorry to butt in. But the Paris prototypes landed. Thought you'd want first look. My edge softened. Thanks, Jordan. These are spot on for fall. I fingered the samples. Book a production sync tomorrow. Jordan nodded and vanished. That exchange? Pure respect, no belittling. 5 years, Alex said. Circling back. 5 years grinding. And they still think you're doodling crafts. I stared out at the skyline. What gets me? Brandon's investing in Cozy Haven, our top rival. Alex winced hard. He's trying to tank us without knowing it's us. I remembered meeting Alex, him. A burned-out consultant, me. A visionary scraping by. When I offered him COO. Folks called him nuts for ditching his fat salary. Not me. The Buckhead Heights house, Alex said slowly. You serious? I can swing it, I stated flat out. No brag. Alex crossed his arms. But when they learn, when Brandon finds out his sis outbid him, I traced our vision board, growth charts. New lines. Global push. I've shielded their egos too long. Done. Alex saw the change, not the wounded kid, but the CEO who'd bootstrapped from zero. Bounced back from fraud without whining. This isn't payback, I added. Voice even. It's claiming my value. Hiding let them erase me. You owe them zilch, Alex reminded. No. But I owe me. He nodded. Pulling his laptop. Listings up. Let's dig in. Hours later. Conference room strewn with mugs. Alex's tie loose as he pored over specs. No contract yet. Selling agents Lisa Markham. We backed her gala last spring. I can snag a tour tomorrow. I eyed the renders, clean lines. Endless glass. That iconic staircase. Everything Brandon bragged about. The 5.5 mil Buckhead Modern. His dream. All cash, Alex suggested. Eyes sparking. Time to show em what knickknacks buy. We mapped it. LLC purchase for anonymity. Fast track close. Docs in before Brandon's bid. Doubt flickered. This would shatter family ties. Maybe it's time, Alex said softly. I signed the offer prelim. Staking my worth on paper. File it at dawn. A week on. The realtor's pumps echoed on hardwood as she guided us through the vacant estate. Her pitch bouncing off bare walls. Alex walked with me, murmuring asides that eased the knot in my gut. All cash was genius, he said, admiring the suspended staircase. They bid in hours. Brandon didn't have a prayer. My fingers grazed granite counters in a kitchen fit for feasts. It wasn't a fight. Brandon dragged his feet with loans and favors. I just signed. Sunlight poured through vast windows, framing Atlanta's sprawl. Warmer than I'd admit. Sellers were thrilled, Alex went on, fiddling with high-end stoves. Fastest close ever. No strings. Other bids? I asked. One from some finance hotshot waiting on funds. Brandon's smug face popped up. How it'd crumple knowing he'd lost. The warmth spread. Guilty but real. Up the staircase. Each step a win. The master suite sprawled like freedom, walls of light. Bath bigger than my old condo. Your domain, Alex said quietly. I centered in the empty space. Picturing my touches, my art. My life. Unhidden. Poetic justice? Alex leaned in the doorway. Mischievous. Housewarming bash. A party. The seed planted. Not any party, the big reveal. Pack it with Atlanta's elite. Slip in your family. Let 'em gawk before the bomb drops. I envision mom fingering fixtures. Dad praising build. Brandon tallying costs, all clueless. That's wicked, I grinned. I'm in. The next week's blurred. Designers swarmed, turning blank canvas to mine. I picked every hue, every weave, every lamp. Feature our fall pieces front and center, I told the head designer, nodding at evergreen staples from mag spreads. They'll spark talk. She jotted notes. Conversation starters. For sure. Amid it. I dropped by parents for obligatory coffee. Mom had been calling more. Fretting my distance. Slipping to the bathroom. I caught Brandon's rant from Dad's study. Some cash flush ghost buyer snatched it. My house, gone before loans cleared. Frustration boiled over. You'll snag better, Mom cooed. I'd tracked it for months. Perfect. Dad, I'll pull strings with bankers. Next one's yours. I slipped out. Intel secured. A quiet thrill in my veins. Clueless to the storm. Invites dropped a week later, thick ivory cards. Minimalist. Listing date. Time. Address, no host. Alex and I vetted the list, Atlanta power players plus my oblivious kin. Mom called next day. Emily. You get one too? Buckhead Heights housewarming. Maybe Brandon's contact. I bit back a laugh. Yeah. Intriguing. Come network with his circle. It'd do good. That tone. Like I needed handouts. I'll show. You should too. We RSPD. Brandon figures tech exec, prime connections. Hanging up. Alex arched a brow. Bait taken. Hook. Line. Sinker. Brandon sees opportunity. Party night. I studied my mirror in the master. Black gown worth a mortgage payment. Hair loose. Makeup sharp. Armor supreme. Outside. Lights bathed the facade. Inside. Caterers plated gourmet bites. Perfection. Alex arrived early. Suited up. Whistling. Stunning, better than pics. At the staircase base. We clinked glasses. To the boss who built this blind to them. Throat tight. I toasted back. Tonight was truth. Not validation. Doorbell chimed. Guests flooded. Moguls. Influencer zooing over details. Guessing the owner. I mingled incognito. Just another face. An hour in. I spotted them. Dad leading. Mom clutching her purse. Brandon appraising like an appraiser. Whose pad? Mom wondered aloud. Sipping bubbly. Tech cash. Or old money, Brandon guessed. Stroking counters. Fortune for sure. They toured. Praising everything. I shadowed. Heart pounding. Mom paused at a signature vase from my line. Like Emily's site stuff. Brandon scoffed. Knockoff, real class here. Showtime. I ascended unseen. Hitting the top. Alex dinged a glass. Host wants a word. Eyes lifted, room hushed. My family, Dad puzzled. Mom startled. Brandon squinting. Welcome, I projected clear. My folks always fretted my future, thought my crafts couldn't cut it. Thrilled they're here to see what they bought. My home. Silence crashed. Brandon's phone hit the floor. Dad paled, Mom gaped. Guests murmured awe. Toasting me. Alex beamed. Their faces pure gold. Finally seen. The hush after my bombshell lasted 5 heartbeats before uneasy chuckles rippled through. I held the staircase summit. Watching guests fidget. Eyes darting between us. Mom rallied first. Etiquette armor on. Emily. Enough kidding. Whose is it really? I descended a few steps. Keeping advantage. Mine. Mom. Every inch. Dad shoved forward. Grabbing my arm with a fake grin for the crowd. What are you pulling? He whispered fierce. Sick prank. I twisted free. No prank, just truth. Behind. Brandon's face spun, shock to denial to math. The quartet strummed on. Masking tension. 5.5 million, I said louder. For ears nearby. Cash from my crafts. A shelter mag editor neared. Flued out. Emily. Spectacular. Didn't know Evergreen was booming. We ran your winter spread. Dad blanched. Mom clutched jewels. Thanks, I toasted. Banner year. More guests swarmed. Congrats flowing. Biz questions. My family shrank. Their story crumbling live. I broke from a chat with an art dealer for a refill. Calculated exposure blocked their denials. Brandon sidled up. Gripping scotch like a lifeline. What angle? He growled low. No way you foot this. Sugar daddy loan. I met his eyes over bubbly. Evergreen hit 40 mil revenue last year. My cash. Brother. His widening eyes? Priceless after years hidden. He recalibrated. Why not hit me for advice? I could have optimized tax shelters. Offshores. You never asked, I snapped. Not once. Why no? The hit landed. He bolted to Dad's huddle. Glances my way. Mom approached. Air kissing. Darling. What a shock. We knew you were savvy. History rewrite underway. I sipped silent. Dad joined. Arm around her. Quite the surprise success. He stressed surprise. Revenue model? Scale sans backers. Too late for interest. Long tail, I evaded. Family biz dinner soon? Mom cooed. Dad's contacts could help. Maybe non-committal. Power flipped. They chased now. Alex eyed me. I nodded, all good. He navigated. Buffering as needed. Evening wore on. I caught Dad and Brandon at the bar. Cash crunch, Dad muttered. Need bridge loan. Brandon shook head. Whitaker tanked, told you risky. I lingered by art. Eavesdropping. How deep? Dad tight. Deep. Not here. I slipped off. Intel buzzing. Golden boy tarnished? Assumed his brag was solid, maybe not. No rush to use, knowledge was edge. Later. In kitchen mingle. Analysts whispered, lost Keystone account. Blowout. Not shocked, last investments bombed. I filed it. Smiling on. Alex neared with fresh drink. Party buzz, Brandon's firm tanking quarters. Eyes open, I murmured. The dismissers faced fallout. Unplanned bonus. But biz taught, sees surprises. 3 months of surgical strikes had morphed evergreen from player to predator. At my desk, I pored over final acquisition docs with Alex. Atlanta's sun gleamed outside. Mirroring climbs. Supply chain buyout sealed, Alex said. Passing folders. That's 8 of Cozy Haven's core vendors ours. I scanned figures. Cozy Haven staggered with delays. Quality dips are news. Traceless. Analysts' report dropped, I said. Handing tablet. Evergreen, e-decor disruptor. Alex grinned at Cozy's desperate pivot spit. Scrambling. Ping, warehouse deal ready. Brandon clueless we'd snagged their hub. 1 sig. And we owned distribution. Boardroom. Alex gathered. I rose. Suit crisp. Endgame. In the glass-walled room. Team and council waited. Air electric. This was chess finale. Bankruptcy buyout prepped, lead lawyer said. Assets at 15 cents per dollar. I signed steady, Cozy Haven mine. Congrats, you own the competition. Handshakes. No fanfare. Power. Not show. Back in office. Alex pass fresh mag, Cozy Haven bankrupts, ecom icon crashes. Preston spotlighted harshly. His firm's hammered, Alex noted. I set it down. Bet against me with others' cash. Lost. Fact. No glee. Phone buzzed, Mom's 7th call. Ignored. Her texts escalated, desperate pleas. Voicemail on speaker, Emily. Please. Urgent. Alex, they connect dots. Seems so. Pocketed. Bother. He pondered. Your call for closure? I gazed at skyline. Conquered sans faith. Irony thick. Let him come. My turf. My time. Set for Sunday. 5 p.m. old dinner slot. Symbolic. Uncaring now. Security chimed arrival, through windows. They trudged, Dad slumped. Mom dabbing eyes. Brandon shuffling. Reversal stark. I stayed atop staircase as they entered. Diminished below. In, I said. Turning to living room. Sat solo, they sofaed. Silence stretched, I waited. Dad coughed. Emily. We. Need help. Brow up. Mom, Brandon's lost it all. All? Detached. Dad nodded ashen. Our savings too co-signed. Retirement wiped. Mom forward. Tears. Help us. Just till stable. Brandon mute. Downcast. Rumpled. What exactly? To him. Flinch. Ecom bet. Cozy Haven, you wouldn't know. I smiled cold. Your rival to Evergreen. Wonder why bankrupt? We bought their chain. You wagered against me with their money. Lost. Dad gaped, Mom sobbed harder. Celeste. Family out I rose. Door wide. Shut on their shock. Freedom hit. 3 months later. Golden afternoon light flooded my Buckhead Heights living room, warming the marble like a hug. The space felt mine now, throw blanket rumpled on the couch. Personal art on walls. Blooms in my lines vase. I leaned over coffee table swatches, Alex opposite. Tablet ready. Q3 beat by 18%, he said, sliding it. Ecoline outsells 3:1. Genuine smile, unmasked. Authenticity wins. Go figure. Thumb soft beige fabric. Room held no old ghosts, just calm. Expansion. North Carolina Mill, Alex scrolled. Family run. Ethical. Local sourcing. Higher cost. Greener footprint, fits our crowd. Our rhythm, seamless trust. Award nom-in, visionary brand. Overdue, sans old sting. No more minimizing. Phone buzzed, Mom. Air paused. Alex watched neutral. Flash, their faces at door slam. Finger hovered, old pull faint. Silenced. Flipped down. This fabric for the line. Alex nodded. Unspoken support. Afternoon flowed, Chicago pop-up. Artist collabs. Palette picks. No Hayes mention. I laughed at Alex's quip on rival flop, free echo. To window. Reflection strong, relaxed. Open. House now home. Not weapon. As twilight warmed rooms. We saw designer outpost spring huddle. Dinner 8? Jake's chef pal testing Paya. Wouldn't miss. Chosen family. Easy. Phone lit. 3 misses. Ignored. To kitchen. Freedom tasted sweeter than vengeance ever could.